Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another TBC Classic Dungeon Cleave leveling guide. My name is Kargoz, and today we're going to go through Hellfire Ramparts. Now, the aim of this video series is to help support and supplement our 60 to 70 Dungeon Cleave leveling guide posted over at restedxp.com. A link will be in the description below. And we do recommend per the route to run this dungeon one time. Now that's to complete the dungeon quest Weaken the Ramparts, but also to obtain the ominous note off the final boss Vasradin, which will lead to a follow-up in Blood Furnace. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, Hellfire Ramparts isn't rocket science, but there are some things that can trip you up. So the first pull, you can do it one of two ways. You can either clear this first cluster of 3 out together before this guy gets too far away and pats back on the bridge, or you can run up, maybe throw a dynamite and do these 3 plus these 2 in the back. Now, just a quick look at the mobs that we're fighting. The Bone Chewer Hunger. This is the basic infantry unit, kind of the lowest common denominator in the dungeon. Not very threatening, has a strike ability, has a demo shout and a disarm, but overall pretty low power level. The Raveners, on the other hand, are a bit higher on that index. These guys have a deadly kidney shot ability, which will oftentimes be applied to the tank since they're highest on the threat table, and that will result in them swapping targets to a healer or a DPS. Just something you have to be mindful of. All right, now pushing up to the next area. This area can get a bit dicey. So look, if you opted to do the larger pull, then you have nothing to worry about. But if you just did this first pack of 3, then I would recommend clearing these 2 out here on the bridge so you have carved out a bit of a fighting position for yourself, and you can use a little choke point to start fishing mobs back to. So there is a patrol here. There's a Ravener and 2 wolves. The wolves are actually very threatening. More so than the Ravener, actually. They do a ton of damage, and when you do fight a pack like this where you have an orc plus 2 wolves, you do want to kill the wolves first, generally. So what you'd want to do is you wait for that patrol to go away. It doesn't really get close enough to the bridge where you can pull it solo. Then you're going to want to pull this pack by itself back here. Or maybe you could consider going for 2 packs. Now, the destroyers are pretty dangerous. They do a lot of damage. They have a mortal strike ability. They have a sweeping strikes ability. And they have a knockdown ability as well. The dark casters aren't very threatening. They have a rain of fire. They have a standard, mana dump. But ideally, you fish this pack back, right? Then the patrol might be making its way back towards here. You might want to wait for it. Believe it or not, doing this patrol with this pack is actually pretty dangerous, especially if you're not in the best gear. Maybe you're 58 boosted. This could totally wipe your dungeon cleave. So be safe. Take that out. Take this next pack out, and then push up a bit. So the archers, real quick. These archers have a multi-shot ability, so they have a bit of cleave and do kind of medium damage. Not really anything to worry too much about. Push up here, nothing too crazy. The next kind of area where things could get rough is here. So first of all, there is a patrol that starts way back, and you don't see it for a very long time, and it's been scripted in a way so that it's going to come up and surprise you, and it's timed to really just throw a spanner in the works. So what you're going to do is take care of this first pack, and the mob you want to get focus first is this Bone Chewer Ripper. The Bone Chewer Ripper has an Enrage. He deals a lot of damage. He's unCCable. You can't stun, snare, root, anything on him. So cleave this pack down together. Wouldn't worry about CC. Just make sure you're focusing the Ripper. Now you're just going to look at that patrol and wait to see where it is. Now if it's where it is right now, you might want to wait for it to push up a bit more and then pull this solo. What you really have to be careful of is this Beastmaster. He looks just like a lone orc, and he looks like there's nothing to worry about, right? But he does summon wolves, a cluster of wolves, and the wolves are very dangerous. He summons them after a period of time fighting him. You can technically burst him down before he summons the wolves, but that level of burst is pretty rare, but you can do it. So I'd recommend killing the Beastmaster first, dealing with these guys after, and then you're going to push up here a bit. You're going to skip these mobs on the right. You don't need to kill them. Deal with this pack. This is nothing too bad. All right, the next area where it can get a little bit monk-ass is here. There's a couple Raveners. There's 1, 2, maybe 3. No, just 2. Yeah, there's 2 Raveners that patrol around solo dolo and are just engineered to chain into another secondary pack, and wipe your group. So be super careful. You just want to kill these solo, pick them off whenever you have a good opportunity to do so. You can technically skip these mobs on the right. If you want to be safe, maybe get a chest. You can kill them. They are large packs, might slow you down a bit, but that's just on you. You don't have to kill these packs against the far wall. You can do the same with these. You have to kill these eventually if the boss is in a position where it's patrolling towards this archway over here. And it's going to be a while before he gets over into a position where you can pull them. Then you might as well just pull this first, right? Common sense. This boss, Watchkeeper Garglemar, nothing really to worry about here. He has 2 healer mobs on him. You can interrupt them. You can CC them. Generally, you either just want to CC them and burst him down, or kill the healers first and then kill him after. But he's not too dangerous or anything. I wouldn't worry too much about him. All right. So we're going to push up this way. Walk up this spiral, and then we're going to get up over here. So this is a similar pack to the one we saw before. There's a Ripper plus a bunch of Scryers. Most of the time, best practice is to pull them back behind here, and they'll all collapse into this nice little choke, and you'll be able to take care of them there. Again, focus the Ripper. Does big damage. I think a lot of us have memories of our childhood of actually wiping in this little corridor, so it's definitely something you want to keep in mind. A couple Mortar Strike enemies up here. Take care of them. Now, I think the best practice is to wait for the patrol coming up into this next room. If you're some high-speed group, you could consider taking the patrol plus this group on the right. But, you know, especially for our route where we're just recommending you to do ramps just one time and then move on, I would opt for the most conservative line of play. Gotta destroy a couple archers, take care of these. You won't have to pull any of these. This pack and this pack you can skip. You're going to have to kill this one eventually at some point, so you might as well do so now. It's a large pack, but it's not very threatening. Hunger, a couple Darkcasters. Same thing over here. A couple Hungerers here, as well as a couple Darkcasters here. Not really a problem. Next boss you're going to fight is Omar. Omor, the Unscarred. Now, let me just double check. He's not really too dangerous as well. He does summon some... fiendish hounds, which look like little fell hunters. You can banish them if you're a warlock. You can usually just ignore him. He dies pretty quick. You can just ignore all mechanics and go face, and you will be able to take him out. He also has an aura that it's like a pulsing shadow damage aura. Every second he'll deal 360 to 440 shadow damage. He's not a problem. Just you know, pop your coolies and take him down. All right. So after this boss, you're gonna come back this way, and you're gonna do a little skip here. Pretty much, you're going to jump over this structure. And you're just going to jump, bunny hop over here. And you'll be able to skip that pack over there, no problem. Take out a couple Hungerers here. And then you're at the final boss area. Vasradin the Herald. Common textbook, tale as old as time mistake, is aggroing these sentries. These actually start the boss fight. They look like they're just trash mobs. And oftentimes somebody might be AFK and somebody wants to be a hero and just kill the trash mob solo real quick. This will start the altercation and could potentially wipe the group. Believe it or not, though, so this is the hardest boss of the dungeon, and believe it or not, you can wipe here. People will just forget that there's mechanics to this. So what's going to happen is he's going to drop the orc down. You're going to fight the orc first, then the dragon's going to come down later. It's a cool ass sword that actually drops here. Very nostalgic looking at that sword. But what's going to happen pretty much is there's going to be some artillery strikes that come down. You'll see a little circle radius thing. You're going to have to move out of those. And there's also going to be fire. So there's going to be fire on the ground, like patches of fire that you're going to move out of. And they do big damage, and those mechanics are pretty aggressive. They come at you pretty quickly. So definitely just like be awake, you know. After the boss is down, here's the little chest with all the loot. And then the nice little skip to get out of the dungeon after you are finished completing it is you're going to come over here. And you're going to jump down right here, down to the beginning of the dungeon, and you can exit the dungeon at this point. In the guide, it tells you to hearth. But that's about it for Blood Furnace. The last thing is make sure you loot the ominous note off Vasradin. Go ahead and accept that quest and get ready to run Blood Furnace. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Just a quick one for you, and I'll be back with a Blood Furnace guide real soon. If you enjoy this format, enjoy this series, if you have any feedback or, you know, maybe some ideas to help improve it further, go ahead and throw those in the comments. I'll see you next time, guys. Take care. Have a good one.